All right, so we're back to Paddy and Andrew's speedrun of Ethereum, and this is going to be the third version of our recording of doing a speedrun on basically registering an ENS domain name and making the domain name point to like my address so I can receive a payment, and to set the URL flag of the address.
Yeah, one thing we should mention actually is that the first video took us 20 minutes to do it. The first one, the next video took 6 minutes, and now your time is going to be 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. I've got my splits and everything ready. I'm only using this browser here, but so here's the main idea. So with ENS, you type in some random.eth that you want to reserve, and it's going to say you have to complete these 3 steps, like waiting a minute, doing this. And then once you've even done the registration, you still have to go set all of these options. So for example, if you look at the URL that I already have, this .eth here, you have to press separate buttons to like set the resolver and then like edit these fields. And so the first couple times we did this, it took 6 transactions. That's why it took us 20 minutes the first time, 6 minutes the next. So you have to do 1 MetaMask transaction for each of those. And what I have now to show off for this speedrun is I've actually gone and remix and spent an embarrassing number of hours when it comes to debugging, but I've written this little contract that basically cuts down the 6 transaction process to just 2 transactions. So you still have to do 2 separate transactions, one for commit and one for reveal. So I've got my step 1 transaction and my step 2 transaction. And so this contract, I already have an instance of this contract put up on the Ropsten testnet. Ropsten testnet's what I'm going to use for this test run. The contracts that you have to interact with, it's pretty complicated the way ENS works, but there's a resolver contract, a registrar controller contract, which is the first one you interact with, and then a base registrar contract, which is, I don't know, what you have to do for like setting all of these things. I have a bunch of stuff hard-coded here, like my address, the minimal amount of money that you have to put down. There's already a difference between what the interface shows you and what's actually possible. So like when you try to go register a new name from the ENS app, it wants you to pay a 1-year minimum period, and there's no way to get smaller than that. But what the contract enforces is actually a 28-day minimum period. So you can pay like 12 times less if you're writing your own custom thing rather than going through their interface. I had to get through this like name hash. This is actually what it looks like when you're computing that hash. You're asking me about that. So like .eth is like the top level name, and you have to compute that, and then the hash of the actual name you're registering. It's kind of complicated. But anyway, so the step 1 just puts a commitment on the blockchain. The contract rules mean you have to wait for 1 minute before you can do the next phase. And so then this step 2, this is the big beast, right? So this completes the registration, revealing what the commit hash was. It also sets the controller to itself. Then it sets my URL. And then it basically ends up transferring the whole domain name back to my public key address. So I've already got this loaded up. I can do it all pretty quickly. It'll even turn on my splits and all of that. So what I need from you, Patrick, before I hit the timer is you have to make up a name that you want me to go register. And I'll check that it's not
Speedrun available.
Say what?
Speedrun.
Just speedrun.eth on Ropsten. I think that is available on Ropsten, yeah. So we're just going to do speedrun.eth. So you ready for it?
Yeah.
All right. Start my splits. So speedrun.
Bam.
All right.
I hope there's not a block for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you hope my speedrun goes really slow due to like Ropsten congestion, stuff like that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's pending. I'm gonna mark my mark it there as let's see, I had to turn off a call in the background. All right. So now I have to wait for this one to get confirmed. I can go load it up in Etherscan and look at it too. According to that, that's already confirmed.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. All right. So it should show up in this interface in a moment now too. Okay. So the next part, I have to change a couple of things. So you actually pay the fee, and this is that minimum way fee.
Yeah.
You actually pay it now in the step 2. And let's see what'll happen
You have to
next.
wait 1 minute, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to wait 1 minute. And so what happens is when I call this step 2, it basically tries to like, determine whether it's going to work or not. So the first couple times when I press it, it's going to say, no, not ready to work.
Wow.
And basically what I have to do is wait for about a minute. I think that what I have to do is wait for, I think that.
A block with a larger timestamp.
Yeah, you have to wait for a block with a larger timestamp to be mined, and then it thinks that it'll go through. But that should be it. So I'm going to confirm it right there. Okay, so what I need you to do in the background is get ready to send a payment to speedrun.eth.
Although I don't have any testnet coins, you'll need a...
You don't have any testnet coins?
No.
Oh no. Okay, I guess I can send them to myself too and call it part of it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let me go back to my MetaMask here. Going to my MetaMask to wait.
Oh. What is the wrong one? This is
All right, and I can also just sit here F5ing the ENS view. So as soon as it says transaction confirmed, it should do all of those operations. Okay, I just got the ping that it's done. So as soon as this loads, there we go. So that's everything URL set. That's my owner and everything. All right, and I'm going to go send myself speedrun.eth. There it is. Send it. No one. All right. Now I'll wait till it says this is confirmed, and then I'll end my split, and we can call it done. This is like Ethereum name system, any percent speedrun.
That's definitely speedrun.
I love this format of a challenge. Yeah, it's so cool. So this is like a very small number of lines of code that actually do anything, but this took me like hours to debug because
what was the
most
difficult part?
There. All right, so 3 minutes, 12 seconds, that's it. The most difficult part was debugging. Like there wasn't anything really, difficult to this, but the problem with everything in Ethereum, at least just using Remix and just using it on this testnet, is that I had initially hadn't done this reclaim the right way, and so the controller was some other thing, and so set text didn't work, and you don't get really any indication what it is that's going wrong. It just says, this transaction is always going to fail no matter how much gas you have. I mean, if I really wanted to debug complicated contract code, I'd go to Truffle and try to get to the debugger. But since this is difficult because of interacting with other contracts that are already on the testnet, we'll just have to do it a little differently somehow.
Yeah. I've never used a debugger. I normally just
trial and error it and print statements until you can get it to work.
Brute force it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we got it to work anyway. So yeah, that was it. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So there we go. Guess we can end this video. Not sure where to go from there. Maybe maybe we'll say we're done with ENS for now, and our next video will be on some other challenge that we come up with.
And open source it.
And open source it. Yeah, this is okay. I should also say that this contract is already up here available. No, not that one. Yeah, this one. So I put the code on verified Etherscan. So I'll put the link to this contract in the YouTube description, and you can go look at the crappy code that I have here.
GG.
GG. All right, good speed running. Okay, recording off. Okay, I'm gonna split. Okay, I'll talk to you on Slack. See ya.
Ciao.